Thank you for coming over. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. Glad you've come over to meet me in this video type of setting. I am, as you know, an executive coach, and I don't know why exactly you're coming over and intrigued, but I help people to take their lives further, particularly their leadership. This may take the form of helping you get promoted. It may take the form of leading your business. You may be absolutely at the top and you're trying to grow your business. It may be that you're not getting the respect and appreciation that you want, or nor having the impact that you want, or maybe you're not in a type of role that's as fulfilling as you'd like it to be. So in any of these cases, you may want to shift here and there, but you're also going to want to keep getting better. There's nothing more rewarding than having more impact, than having it so that your work is becoming in some ways more enjoyable and easier, but just that much more dynamic and interesting. And the more that you're respected, the more that you can have impact, the more credibility you've got, and so on, the more you're going to be involved in better projects, the more people are going to pay you more. The more you'll be able to take care of your family and your future, and live interesting challenges through the course of your career. Most of the people that I work with have a pretty strong desire to keep working, even when they quote unquote retire. They want to do interesting things, give back, advise, be on boards, travel, and find other purposes in their life. So my view is you're developing as a leader your whole life long. As a kid, you kind of figure out how to be amongst your brothers and sisters. In high school, you may be doing various activities, or in school, you're developing thought leadership. You're developing communication abilities, all sort of interpersonal, interrelational. And of course, you're building on your technical capabilities, and you build those up, but you really don't begin to significantly push and drive change through organizations, whatever type that might be, and then have impact on society and so on, until you get into your 20s, 30s, 40s, and thereafter. And you can become a much, much better leader. I've developed dramatically, and I've worked with thousands of leaders, seen them grow in all sorts of ways, not only with my help, but through all sorts of challenges and stretches and just over the course of time. But you can accelerate things. The challenge is that a lot of people, they think they're moving well up at those early years, because usually everybody that I work with is either a high potential or someone who really is ambitious and aspiring, but or determined as a high potential, or they themselves have decided they want to get somewhere, and they move relatively easily through those lower ranks. But when you start getting up higher, or if you're leading a business and running a business, and you're wanting to absolutely maximize, optimize the growth and the performance of an organization, there's so many things, so many just whole big categories of ideas of capabilities, whether you're being more strategic, making strategic contributions in lots of different ways. I love to ask that question of people. How do you make strategic contributions? How do you add strategic value to your company? And a lot of people don't have a very good answer to that. How do you contribute to the bottom line? How do you build credibility and rapport and build alliances sufficient to be able to drive change through your organization? How do you develop the culture, teams, and how they work together? How do you develop individuals? All these things can be optimized significantly above and beyond where you are. CEOs are the most common users of coaching. So don't think for a minute that you're only need it as you climb up, and don't think for a minute that you may know everything, because we're all growing and learning. I mean, any good master of anything knows that the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know, and how much more you could try to put it all together. Leaders that have done a lot, whether it's like Richard Branson's or Warren Buffett's, or, whoever it may be, are humble by all that the challenges they are, and they realize over time how much more growth that they've got. So what I want to do with you is to spend an hour really looking at trying to add as much value as I possibly can, plotting out a plan, giving you some good feedback. I mean, I won't have enough data to give you a comprehensive evaluation, but I've got a dual PhD, been assessing leaders for 30 years, got lots and lots of a huge normative database in my mind, but unique people of all types, you know, loud and bold and calm and steady and brilliant and quirky, just all sorts. And we've all got personality dimensions to us that make it really difficult for us to show up in certain ways, in the ways that we need to, and then all sorts of perspectives. I mean, everybody has a background, experiences that taint and biases and makes us pay attention to some things more than others. And so there's no doubt whatsoever that you can dramatically improve. And when you engage with a coach and someone who's good and really be honest with you and chart out a path, you can grow a lot. So anyways, not to get into the longer term, let's just focus on this free hour that I'm providing. And I lived in Singapore when I was young, traveled all around the world to almost 100 countries, and just am fascinated by people of all different types and all different personalities and intelligences and interests and ambitions and so on. So the hour will be fascinating for me. And I'd like to, shape a strategy, give you some significant feedback on what you might want to do from there, all with a caveat that typically if we were to begin working together, we would, I'd have a few more tools. We'd have you take a personality inventory. Very likely most people, not everybody, and you don't have to, but we'd do a 360 process where I interview people around you. All this is included in the program, but I can do a lot right there in the hour. I just really get immersed and consider you a wonderful challenge to understand and figure out, because you're not just a functionary, leader that's doing something in an organization. You're a whole person who's got a long life of evolving and growing and developing, and you've got family, and you've got, a fascinating personality and all sorts of knowledge and wisdom and learnings through the course of life, and you're employing those and into being, a great professional, a great mother, or a great father. So for me, it's, unendingly fascinating to try to help you and accelerate yours. And I was starting to say that there is that time runs out. You start to get into your early 40s and you're only, 7-10 years away from people starting to go, okay, this person is getting up there, and some ageism can kick in and so on. And you want those to be really powerfully productive peak years where you're seen as someone who's got the capability to keep that trajectory going, or that you just are so capable and they need that wisdom and the presence that you bring enable them to run their organization even better. So I'm not sure that I mentioned it, but you may be looking for a job. You may be trying to win a role above you. You may have just gotten a great new role and you're trying to make sure that people realize, hey, this person is capable. Even on this learning curve of a new role, doing extraordinarily well. And this puts you on the quick or fast track. Maybe they're doing so well, we promote them in 2 years, 3 years, rather than the 7 or 10. And that makes a huge difference. There can be literally $1 million. I think $500,000 is absolute minimum that's on the table as to how intensively you grow yourself and keep evolving and growing through it. And while it does take some effort, does take some attention, if you're just smart and you're always paying attention to new things, it keeps your work a lot more fascinating. You're having a lot more impact. You're growing and feeling. That's the way dopamine works. We'll go into a lot of neuroscience about it, that when you're growing and you're fascinated and you're challenged, you're that much more rewarded inside with your prides and satisfactions and fascinations and stuff like that. So my dissertation was in motivational intelligence, which is a whole nother story. So let's talk about that. I've probably traveled to the country you're from, if not know quite a bit about the region that you're coming from. I certainly have worked with people of all different industries: Merck Pharmaceuticals, Ritz-Carlton Hotels, Intel, McKinsey and Company. You can look at them there on the page that we're on right now. That's just a sampling. Lots and lots of companies. So certainly learned about leadership through and through, but I'm always learning. I'm just like you. So I would really look forward to meeting you, and let's get something scheduled. I'll look for you on my calendar. It kind of alerts me when you sign up and click that red button right there and book a time. And whatever time you've got, if you only got 15 minutes, let's do that. If you got 30, great. I do usually, it's scheduled for 40 minutes, but I usually do leave open the hour. And I like to make as much impact in that hour as we possibly can. And if by chance we end up carrying it further and taking it a little further down the road or committing to something significant, either way, I'm here for you and I look forward to meeting you. So have a great day and I hope to see you on my calendar.